Sweden, a nation renowned for its long-standing tradition of neutrality, has taken a resolute stand against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This decisive shift in Swedish foreign policy reflects the gravity of the situation and underscores Sweden's unwavering commitment to upholding international law and defending democratic values. The world watches as Sweden navigates this complex geopolitical landscape, demonstrating that neutrality does not equate to indifference in the face of blatant aggression.
Sweden's history is one of carefully balanced neutrality, a position maintained even during the tumultuous years of the Cold War. Yet, Russia's actions in Ukraine have shattered the illusion of peace in Europe, compelling Sweden to reassess its security posture and forge a new path forward. This is a defining moment for Sweden as it grapples with the realities of a world increasingly defined by conflict and uncertainty. The Swedish government, with the overwhelming support of its people, has condemned Russia's invasion in the strongest possible terms.
For over 2 centuries, Sweden has meticulously cultivated a policy of neutrality, carefully navigating the turbulent waters of global politics while remaining non-aligned in major conflicts. This approach has allowed Sweden to avoid the devastation of wars that have plagued other nations, preserving its resources and focusing on internal development. This stance, often traced back to the Napoleonic Wars of the early 19th century, has been a cornerstone of Swedish foreign policy, shaping its identity on the world stage. The decision to remain neutral during these tumultuous times was not just a strategic move, but a defining moment that set the tone for Sweden's future interactions with the world. It is a legacy deeply ingrained in the nation's psyche, a source of both pride and pragmatism. The Swedish people have embraced this policy, seeing it as a reflection of their values and a commitment to peace and stability.
Sweden's neutrality, however, has never been synonymous with isolationism or indifference. Instead, it has been a dynamic and active form of neutrality, engaging with the world in meaningful ways. Throughout its history, Sweden has been an active participant in international organizations, advocating for peace, diplomacy, and human rights. Its contributions to global peacekeeping missions and humanitarian efforts have been significant, earning it a reputation as a moral leader on the international stage. It has consistently punched above its weight in global affairs, mediating disputes, providing humanitarian aid, and promoting sustainable development. Sweden's commitment to these causes has demonstrated that neutrality does not mean passivity, but rather a proactive stance in fostering global well-being. Sweden's neutrality, rather than being passive, has been characterized by proactive engagement in global issues. This approach has allowed Sweden to influence international policies and contribute to global stability in ways that align with its values.
The end of the Cold War presented both challenges and opportunities for Swedish neutrality. The dissolution of the Soviet Union and the subsequent geopolitical shifts required Sweden to reassess its position and adapt to a rapidly changing world. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, the geopolitical landscape of Europe shifted dramatically. This new reality necessitated a re-evaluation of Sweden's foreign policy and its approach to international relations. Sweden, while maintaining its non-aligned status, deepened its cooperation with NATO and the European Union, recognizing the importance of collective security and regional integration. This collaboration was seen as essential for maintaining stability and addressing new security challenges. This period marked a delicate balancing act for Sweden, as it sought to preserve its traditional stance while adapting to a new era. The country had to navigate the complexities of a changing world while staying true to its principles of neutrality and peace.
However, Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 served as a stark warning sign, raising concerns about Russia's increasingly assertive foreign policy and its willingness to use military force to achieve its objectives. This event underscored the need for Sweden to remain vigilant and prepared for potential threats. This event marked a turning point, prompting Sweden to reassess its security environment and to begin bolstering its defense capabilities. The country recognized that maintaining neutrality required a robust defense strategy to deter any potential aggression. The long-standing assumption of peace in Europe was shaken, forcing Sweden to confront the possibility of a resurgent threat in its neighborhood. This realization led to increased investments in defense and a renewed focus on ensuring the safety and security of the nation.
Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 sent shockwaves across Europe, shattering the continent's sense of security and fundamentally altering the geopolitical landscape. The sudden and brutal nature of the attack left many European nations scrambling to reassess their own security policies and alliances. For Sweden, this act of unprovoked aggression was a watershed moment, a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present threat posed by authoritarian regimes. The images of destruction and human suffering in Ukraine resonated deeply with the Swedish public, igniting a wave of solidarity and support for the Ukrainian people. It became abundantly clear that Russia, under Vladimir Putin's leadership, had become a revisionist power, bent on redrawing borders by force and challenging the established international order. This realization forced many countries, including Sweden, to reconsider their strategic positions and the potential threats they face.
The invasion of Ukraine forced Sweden to confront a fundamental question. Could its long-held policy of neutrality truly guarantee its security in an era of renewed great power rivalry? The debate in the Swedish parliament was intense, with lawmakers and experts weighing the pros and cons of maintaining neutrality versus seeking stronger alliances. The answer for many in Sweden was a resounding no. Public opinion shifted dramatically, with a clear majority of Swedes now supporting increased defense spending and even exploring the once unthinkable joining NATO. This shift was reflected in numerous public opinion surveys and town hall meetings across the country. Public opinion shifted dramatically, with a clear majority of Swedes now supporting increased defense spending and even exploring the once unthinkable joining NATO. The idea of NATO membership, once a fringe notion, gained mainstream acceptance as the public recognized the need for collective security in the face of Russian aggression.
The Swedish government, responding to this shift in public sentiment and the gravity of the situation in Ukraine, took unprecedented steps. The Prime Minister addressed the nation, outlining the new defense policies and the rationale behind them, emphasizing the need for unity and preparedness. For the first time in over 2 centuries, Sweden sent weapons to a country at war, breaking with its long-standing policy of not supplying arms to parties in conflict. This historic decision marked a significant departure from Sweden's traditional stance of non-partisanship and neutrality. This decision, while controversial to some, was seen by many as a necessary measure to help Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression. The cooperation between Swedish and Ukrainian military forces highlighted the growing bond between the two nations and Sweden's commitment to supporting Ukraine's sovereignty.
Moreover, Sweden joined the European Union in imposing harsh sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy, financial system, and key individuals within the Putin regime. These sanctions were designed to cripple Russia's ability to sustain its military operations and to send a clear message of international condemnation. This united front against Russian aggression demonstrated Sweden's unwavering commitment to international law and its solidarity with Ukraine. The collaboration between Swedish and Ukrainian officials underscored the importance of standing together in the face of tyranny and aggression. Sweden's message was clear. Russia's actions would not go unpunished, and the international community would stand together in defense of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The Swedish Prime Minister's speeches at international summits reinforced this stance, calling for continued support for Ukraine and a united front against Russian aggression.
Section 4. Sweden's response, a multifaceted approach. Sweden's response to the Ukraine crisis has been multifaceted, encompassing diplomatic efforts, military aid, economic measures, and a renewed focus on domestic security. This approach highlights Sweden's commitment to addressing the crisis from all possible angles, ensuring a comprehensive and effective response.
Recognizing the complexity of the situation, Sweden has sought to address the crisis on multiple fronts, working in close coordination with its European partners and NATO allies. This collaboration has been crucial in forming a united front against the aggression and ensuring that all efforts are synchronized for maximum impact.
This comprehensive approach reflects Sweden's understanding that security in the 21st century requires a multidimensional strategy. It is not just about military might, but also about diplomatic finesse, economic resilience, and social stability.
On the diplomatic front, Sweden has been a vocal advocate for Ukraine in international forums, condemning Russia's actions and calling for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Sweden's diplomatic efforts have been instrumental in rallying global support and ensuring that the international community remains engaged.
Sweden has worked tirelessly to rally international support for Ukraine, providing humanitarian assistance and pushing for tougher sanctions against Russia. These efforts are aimed at alleviating the suffering of the Ukrainian people and putting pressure on Russia to cease its aggressive actions.
Sweden's diplomatic efforts have been crucial in maintaining international pressure on Russia and ensuring that Ukraine does not stand alone in its struggle for survival. By keeping the issue at the forefront of international discourse, Sweden helps to sustain global attention and action.
Furthermore, Sweden has taken concrete steps to strengthen its own defense capabilities. This is not just about responding to the current crisis, but also about preparing for future challenges. The Swedish government has announced a significant increase in defense spending, aiming to modernize its armed forces and enhance its ability to respond to potential threats. This includes upgrading military equipment and investing in new technologies to ensure that Sweden's defense forces are well prepared.
This includes investments in new equipment, increased military exercises, and a renewed focus on territorial defense. These measures are designed to ensure that Sweden can effectively defend its borders and maintain its sovereignty.
Sweden's commitment to bolstering its defense posture sends a clear message of deterrence to Russia and underscores its determination to protect its sovereignty. This proactive stance is essential in maintaining regional stability and preventing further escalation.
Sweden has also deepened its cooperation with Finland, its neighbor and close partner, on security matters. This partnership is a testament to the strong bonds between the two countries and their shared commitment to regional security. The two countries, which share a long border and a history of cooperation, have conducted joint military exercises and enhanced intelligence sharing. These joint efforts are crucial in ensuring that both nations are prepared to face any potential threats together.
The deepening partnership between Sweden and Finland reflects a shared understanding of the evolving security environment in the Baltic Sea region and the need for closer cooperation to address common challenges. This collaboration is a key component of their strategy to ensure peace and stability in the region. Section 5. Military aid equipping Ukraine's defense.